Hi, I'm Ken Krell. Speakers, authors, coaches, thought leaders come to me to discover how they can take their current position and turn it into high-powered, high-profit, transformational digital events. I can do the same for you too. You're about to watch an excerpt of one of our online events that I think you may find very powerful. After that, I'll meet you and we'll talk about it. If you're an author, you better pay attention because this will be really useful for you. Our guest today is the amazing, incredible Cathy Knipper, who has not yet mastered great lighting, but she has the ability to enlighten people on how to find your book, get it promoted, and getting it profitable. How you doing, Cathy?
Great, Ken. It's great to be here with you and just really enjoy our conversation.
Well, you know, it's fun to play, and I want to hear more about what you're doing to help authors get their books out there. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing and how you make it happen.
Well, actually, Ken, I've always had just ideas. Ideas kind of come to me and they just pop in my head. And it works really well when you're working with authors, especially debut authors, because a lot of authors who write their first book, they just say, okay, I wrote my first book, I'm done. And then they say, and I say, well, who's going to read this book? And they say, everyone. Definitely not the answer you want to hear. So the first thing an author needs to do is define their audience. And once they define their audience, then I can work with them. And I have worked with authors from the ages of 26 to almost 100. And I've worked with more than 100 authors. And I've worked with lay people, religious people, married people, divorced people, parents, single people, and books on all the gamut and all different subjects, fiction, nonfiction, children's books. And it's just about finding the right idea, the right market, and the right audience. And it's not difficult. It's just, you gotta put yourself out there.
So if there's to be, I mean, I'm impressed. If there's to be one tip or strategy that you would give to an author, what would that be?
Everyone's not going to read your book. But that's a depressing thing to say to an author. So basically, the thing to say to an author is you can hire a publicist, you can hire a lot of people to market your book, but unless you're willing to work with them and do a lot of the work yourself, your book is not going to market itself. It's not going to go out on the market and say, become a bestseller overnight. There are no, who's the guy who does Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Oh, Kiyosaki?
Yeah. He says there are no best writing authors. There are only best-selling authors. And I love that quote. I love that quote. And if you want your book to sell, you have to work at it. And it's best to consult others and get out there. And I see so many people with success stories here, and it's wonderful.
What would you say is your best success story? Or not even your best. What's your typical success story?
Well, I guess my typical success story is educating, especially debut authors, on the things that, putting them in a realistic frame of mind, because you want them to stay positive, but you also don't want them to be delusional. But you also want to help them, because a lot of things are very, very simple and they're very, very easy, and people just don't know the little tricks here and there. And I had one debut author who had a family crisis 6 weeks before her book was to come out, and remembered to call me on the day of the crisis and tell me that she couldn't appear on TV. And when I found out what happened, I was like, why, how would you even remember to call me? And her book, because of some of the marketing tips that I gave her and she utilized, 3 years later, I think still remains a #1. It's usually in the top 10 best-selling in her category on Amazon. And
that's impressive.
And it's a Catholic fiction book for teens, and it's just a great little book. I love it. I promote it all the time.
So if people want to learn more about you, Cathy, or get in touch with you, what's the best way for them what's the best way for them to find you? I'm speechless right now. That's pretty cool.
Well, most of my business has been word of mouth, but I have just become recently very goal oriented and very starting to put myself out there in the proper ways. And so my website isn't active yet, but when it is, I'll put it on Ken's in Ken's show notes, and you can contact me there. Right now, mostly on LinkedIn. That's how people find me.
Nice. Well, you know, what's kind of cool is typically when someone comes on our show, they're like promote, 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 promote. Clearly, you're so successful that you're doing so much business that even though you're on the show, you don't really care to promote, 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 which is very interesting, which basically tells me you're pretty damn successful and good at what you do. Because if you're not in that mode and you don't need to because you're so busy, it's like, then we need to talk to her. So I want to congratulate you and thank you for coming. Cathy, you're amazing. Congratulations on all that you've done. Ladies and gentlemen, Cathy Knipper. Thanks for coming, Kath.
Thanks, Ken. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you.
So that's one short taste of how you can use the power of digital events to help people transform their lives and find a new way to live. Want to learn how you can put it to use in your own business? Well, stick with me for the Digital Events Essentials Plan. It's called DEEP. It'll take you through how you can plan, produce, and profit from your own online events. It's pretty great, it's pretty free, and I think you'll like it pretty much. So come join me. Click the link either in the description below or somewhere on this video itself, and we'll take you over there. It's completely free. I think you're going to love it, and it will give you the plan you need to plan, produce, and profit from your own digital events.